Hello, Math Champions. In this video, we are going to find out or learn more about midpoint of a line. In the previous video, if you have not learned about how a line is represented by equation and there are multiple points in the equation, go ahead and learn about those things. In the right top corner of this video, you get a link. So go ahead and watch that and learn that first. Okay. Now we have a line here. Okay. And our objective is to find out the midpoint of this line, straight line. Okay. Line segment, basically. A line segment means it has a starting point and I mean the two end points are there. Well, which are the two end points here? The end points are this and this. This is my end points, and now having this information, I have to find out the midpoint of this line. Okay, how do I do that? Let's learn by using coordinate, plotting the coordinate points and all those things. Okay. And also let's use Pythagoras theorem also. If you do not know the Pythagoras theorem formula, go ahead and learn about that in my channel, from my channel. Okay. Now we have to find out the midpoint of this. By looking at this directly, of course, I can find out. But then what if some lines are there which is not, it's not easy to find out? How do we do that? Okay. So let's have this, this point, let's give a name as x1, y1. Okay, x1, y1. The other one is x2, y2. We know the end points of these two. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to draw, perpendiculars in the bottom, right? Perpendicular lines. Okay, I'm just going to draw that. Okay, perpendicular lines. Okay, and then I'm also going to draw, let's say this is the midpoint. Okay, this is the midpoint. Okay, this is the midpoint. Now I don't know what is the value of this. I don't know this. Okay, I don't know this. Then how do I find out? That is what we are trying to do here. So what we will do is we will drop perpendiculars below this also. Okay, perpendiculars below this also. Let's just consider the x point here. X, this one. I don't know this, right? X. How can I find out the x? Right? X2 is the distance from 0 till here. That is my x2. Right? That is my, so x1, sorry. x1 it is. And if I go for this distance, this is x2. Okay. Now, if that is the way it is, then how can I find the midpoint between these two? Right? How can I find the midpoint between these two? That means basically I have to find out the middle point between this and this. That means I have to find out the center point between -1 and -5. How can I do that? When we want to find out what is the middle number between 1 and 5, okay? Between 1 and 5, we have 2, 3, 4, right? This is the middle point. How can we find out what is the relationship between 1 and 5 and this 3? Is that 1 plus 5 by 2 gives me a 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 by 2 gives me a 3, right? So, similarly, if I have a x1 and a x2, x1 and x2, okay? That means between this and this, if I have to find out the center point, this will be, this is x2, this is x1, this is x2, right? Then this point will be x1 plus x2 by 2, right? That is how I can find out the x. This is going to be my x, the point, the x coordinate of this middle point. Okay. Similarly, let's do for the y points, right? Y coordinate, right? So let's draw a perpendicular to the y-axis from these points. This is going to be from here to here, it's going to be y1. Okay. From here to here, from this to this, it is going to be y2. And if I'm going to drop a line between this, then it's going to be y. This is going to be y, right? This is going to be y. Okay. So now, let's forget about these things. Okay. Let's write it just like that. So it's a y1 here and it's a y2 here. And y is between, exactly in the between those two, right? When we say between any number, say y1 is here, y2 is here, and y is here, this is a middle point, means I know this can be given by y1 plus y2 by 2. Does this apply for negative numbers also? Negative numbers also, does it apply? Let's see. Okay, let's see. For example, -1, -5, -1. -5, -1. When we add, -1, when we add them and then divide by 2, we're going to get a -3, which is going to be my middle point here, right? So it applies even for the negative numbers, negative and positive numbers. Both it applies like this. It is true. So how can we give a midpoint? Midpoint of a line segment can be given by, midpoint of a line segment can be given by, if the points are like this, x comma y, that is can be given by x1 plus x2 by 2, one thing, and comma y1 plus y2 by 2. Okay. In this case, what happens? My x1 y1 is -5, comma 1, right? And here the x2 comma y2 is -1 comma 5, right? Okay, so -5 comma 1 and -1 comma 5. Okay, this is my x1 y1, this is x2 y2. Now I need to add these two divided by 2, right? -1 -1 and -5. I'm going to add by 2, comma 1 plus 5 by 2, right? These are my coordinates. This will give me a -3, comma 3. Now look at this. Look at this point here. It is -3, comma 3. And this is how we can find out the midpoint of a line segment. I hope you're clear about this, and you just have to remember this. When you know the two end points, these two are the end points, x1 and y1, x2 and y2 are the two end points. And you take those coordinates, add them and divide by 2. Take these coordinates, add them and divide by 2. You're going to get the midpoint of the line segment. Don't think you just learned it and you understood it. Go ahead and solve some problems on this midpoint of a line segment, and then you know you have mastered this concept. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, see you. Bye-bye, my champions.